If you take that job, we're done. You can be a VP or you can be my wife, but you can't be both. Marcus stood in our kitchen, arms crossed, his jaw set in that way that used to make me think he was being protective. Now I realized it was just control. I looked at the email on my laptop screen. Subject line: Congratulations, VP of Product Offer. 6 years of 80-hour weeks, 3 product launches, 2 acquisitions I'd led. And now, finally, Vice President, $240,000 a year. Manhattan office. My name on the executive floor. Marcus, we talked about this. You knew this promotion was coming. I knew it was a possibility. I didn't know they'd expect you to move across the country. He gestured at our apartment, at the life we'd built in San Francisco over 3 years. What about us? What about the wedding? Or does none of that matter to you? The wedding. October 15th, 7 months away. We'd put down deposits at the Fairmont, sent save the dates to 200 guests. My dress hung in the spare room closet, still wrapped in plastic. The position is 2 years, I said, keeping my voice steady. 2 years in New York to establish the East Coast division, then I can negotiate to come back. You could come with me. Your real estate license transfers. My business is here, Emma. I've spent 5 years building my client base. I can't just abandon that because you want to play executive. Play executive. The words landed like a slap. This isn't playing, Marcus. This is my career. And what about our family? We've talked about kids. You're 34. The clock is ticking. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not. I'd heard this argument before, whispered in late-night conversations when I came home from work events. Little comments about my priorities. Suggestions that maybe I was too focused on my career. But tonight felt different. Tonight felt like an ultimatum. I'm not giving up this opportunity, I said quietly. His face hardened. Then you're giving up us. Choose. I looked at him, really looked at him. The man I'd planned to marry. The man who'd seemed so supportive when we first started dating, who'd told me my ambition was sexy, who'd bragged about my success to his friends. When had that changed? Or had I just been too busy climbing the ladder to notice? I need to think, I said. Think fast. They need an answer by Friday. He grabbed his keys from the counter. I'm going to Jake's. Don't wait up. The door closed behind him with a decisive click. I sat in the silence of our apartment, the congratulations email still glowing on my screen. My phone buzzed. A text from my boss, Karen. Emma. Champagne tomorrow. Can't wait to celebrate. I should have felt excited. Triumphant. Instead, I felt hollow. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed scrolling through my phone, looking at our photos together. Marcus at my company holiday party, arm around my waist. Marcus at my 30th birthday, which he'd thrown as a surprise. Marcus at my father's funeral last year, solid and steady beside me. Or was he? I zoomed in on that funeral photo. He was there, yes. But was he holding my hand? No. He was on his phone. I remembered now, he'd been texting with a client about a closing. Just a quick thing, babe, I promise. I opened Instagram, started scrolling through his feed. There. His latest post from 2 weeks ago, him at a Giants game with the boys. Caption: Sometimes you gotta blow off steam while the missus works her crazy hours. Number, blessed number. Sunday fun day. The missus working her crazy hours. I kept scrolling. Another post, 3 months back. Date night when she's actually free. Rare occurrence these days, but I'll take it. With a crying laughing emoji. Was this how he talked about me? Like I was the problem? Like my career was an inconvenience he tolerated. I opened my laptop, went to our shared Google Drive. We kept files there, apartment lease, insurance documents, wedding planning spreadsheet. I clicked on the wedding budget file, something I hadn't looked at in weeks. Marcus had offered to handle most of the planning, said he knew I was busy with work. You just show up and look beautiful, babe. The spreadsheet loaded. Venue. $28,000. Catering. $18,500. Photography. $6,000. We'd agreed to split everything 50-50. My contributions were marked in green, his in blue. I started counting. My deposits, my payments, $32,000 so far. His contributions, $4,500. I stared at the numbers. We'd been planning this wedding for 8 months. I'd paid for nearly everything. Every time I'd asked about his half, he'd said business was slow. He'd catch up next month, don't worry about it. My heart started racing. I opened our apartment lease. We'd moved in together 2 years ago. Rent was $4,200 a month, split down the middle according to our agreement. I logged into my bank account, started going through Venmo transactions. Every month, like clockwork, $2,100 to Marcus for my half of rent. I clicked through to his Venmo. It was public, I could see his transactions. He was paying our landlord $2,800 a month. Not $4,200, $2,800. I felt the blood drain from my face. I checked the lease again. We'd negotiated it together. Or so I thought. The amount listed, $2,800. Marcus had been telling me rent was $4,200 and pocketing $1,300 of my money every month. For 2 years. I did the math in my head. $31,200. My hands were shaking now. I opened my messages, scrolled back through our texts. Found the conversation from 2 months ago when I'd gotten a $15,000 bonus. Marcus, congrats babe. You deserve it. Hey. Weird timing but my car broke down. Transmission is shot. $3K to fix. Any chance you could spot me? I'm waiting on a big commission to close. Me? Of course. Sending now. Love you. I'd sent him $3,000. Had his car even broken down? Or was that just another lie? I kept digging. Found the conversation from last year when my father died and left me $50,000. Marcus, I know this is hard timing but I need to talk to you about something. My business partner wants to expand. I need to invest $20K to keep my stake. If I don't, I'll lose everything I've built. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't critical. Me, let me help. Family helps family, right? Him. You're amazing. I'll pay you back when the expansion profits come in. I'd given him $20,000. Money from my father's estate. Money that was supposed to be my safety net. Had there even been a business expansion? Or had he just seen an opportunity to take advantage of my grief? I felt sick. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. When I came back, I opened my laptop again. This time, I went to our shared calendar. Marcus's schedule was color-coded in blue. I started clicking through his appointments. Most were blocked out as client meetings or showings. But one caught my eye. Every Thursday at 7 p.m. for the past 3 months, dinner meeting. Thursday nights. The nights he said he had to wine and dine potential clients. The nights I worked late because I didn't want to come home to an empty apartment. I opened Find My Friends. We'd shared locations when I got nervous about him driving in bad weather. I'd never thought to check it before. I scrolled back through his location history. Those Thursday nights. He wasn't at restaurants. He was at an apartment building in North Beach. The same address. Every Thursday. For months. My stomach turned. I looked up the address on Google. Luxury apartments. Starting at $3,500 a month. Was Marcus keeping another apartment? Or was he visiting someone who lived there? I checked his location right now. Jake's house, he'd said. The address showed he was in Oakland. I looked up the location. It was a bar. Not Jake's house. Everything was a lie. Everything. I sat there in the dark, my mind racing. How had I been so blind? I'd been so focused on work, on proving myself, on climbing the corporate ladder. I'd trusted him completely. Never questioned the bills, the expenses, the stories. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus, staying at Jake's tonight. Need space to think about your choices. My choices. Like I was the one destroying our relationship. Like I was the one lying and stealing. I felt anger rise in my chest, hot and sharp. All those times he'd made me feel guilty for working late. All those comments about my priorities. All those jokes about me being married to my job. He'd been manipulating me, making me doubt myself, while he stole from me. I opened the VP offer email again. Start date, May 1st. 6 weeks away. $240,000 a year. Plus equity. Plus a signing bonus of $50,000. Everything suddenly became very clear. I picked up my phone and sent a text to Karen. I accept the position. When do you need me to sign? The response came within minutes. Yes. I'll have HR send contracts tomorrow. Welcome to the executive team, Emma. Then I started making a list. First, document everything. I took screenshots of the rent payments, the lease, the wedding expenses, the Venmo history. I downloaded our shared files to my personal drive. I logged into his email account. We'd shared passwords for emergencies and started searching. What I found was worse than I'd imagined. Emails to his real estate partner. Emma's father's estate money came through, $20K, secured. Should cover the renovation costs on the Berkeley property. The Berkeley property. His business expansion was a house he was flipping. With my money. My father's money. More emails. To someone named Vanessa, she bought the story about the car. Easy money. This is almost too simple. To his buddy Jake, wedding's getting expensive but it's worth it. Once we're married, what's hers is mine, right? And she's a cash cow. Cash cow. He'd called me a cash cow. And the Thursday night location. More emails to Vanessa. Dinner plans. Inside jokes. Can't wait to see you Thursday. Same place. Photos attached. Him and a blonde woman, drinks in hand, laughing. Vanessa lived in that North Beach apartment. My money had probably helped pay her rent. I felt cold, like my whole body had turned to ice. But my mind was clear, crystal clear. I opened a new spreadsheet. Started documenting everything. Every lie, every stolen dollar, every manipulation. The rent fraud, $31,200. The fake car repair, $3,000. The business expansion, $20,000. Wedding costs I'd paid alone, $32,000. Other loans I'd given him over the years that were never repaid, $8,500. Total. 94.7 cents. Nearly $100,000 he'd stolen from me over 3 years. I checked the time. 2:47 a.m. I should have been exhausted, but adrenaline was keeping me sharp. I had work to do. I called the Fairmont, left a message with their events team requesting a callback about our October wedding. Then I called the caterer, the photographer, the florist, left messages with all of them. Next, I logged into our joint bank account. We'd opened it 6 months ago for wedding expenses. Balance, $12,000, all my deposits. I transferred it back to my personal account. Then I drafted an email to our landlord. Dear Mr. Chen, I need to clarify our rental agreement for Unit 4B. I've discovered a discrepancy in what I've been paying versus the actual lease amount. Could you please confirm that our monthly rent is $2,800 as stated in the lease? I've been told it was $4,200 and have been paying accordingly. I need documentation of all payments received for the duration of our tenancy. Thank you. Emma Chen. I hit send at Trey, Fempton AM. At 6 a.m., my alarm went off. I'd gotten maybe an hour of sleep, but I felt strangely alert. I showered, put on my best suit, the Navy Theory one I wore for executive presentations, and did my makeup carefully. Wore paint, I thought. Marcus came home at 7:30, looking sheepish. Hey. Can we talk? Sure, I said calmly. Coffee? He looked surprised by my tone. Yeah, thanks. I made us both coffee, sat down across from him at our kitchen table. The same table where he'd delivered his ultimatum 12 hours ago. I've been thinking, he started. About what I said last night. Maybe I was too harsh. If this VP thing is really important to you, I accepted the position, I said. I'm moving to New York in May. His face went red. You what? Without even discussing it with me? You gave me an ultimatum, Marcus. I chose. So that's it? 3 years together, and you're just throwing it away for a job? I took a sip of my coffee. My hand was steady. I have some questions for you. Emma, this isn't the time. How much is our rent, Marcus? He blinked. What? Our rent. How much is it? $4,200. You know that. Interesting. Because I checked the lease. It's $2,800. Which means for 2 years, you've been stealing $1,300 a month from me. That's $31,200. The color drained from his face. I can explain. Did your car really break down? Or was that $3,000 just another scam? Emma. And my father's money. The $20,000 for your business expansion. I saw the emails, Marcus. You bought a property in Berkeley. With my inheritance. He stood up. You went through my emails? You stole nearly $100,000 from me. I think that gives me the right to investigate. It's not stealing. We're engaged. What's yours is mine. We're not engaged anymore. I pulled off the ring he'd given me 18 months ago, a 1.5-carat diamond that he'd made a big show of buying but that I later discovered he'd put on my credit card without telling me. I set it on the table between us. You have until this weekend to move out. This is my apartment too. Actually, it's not. The lease is in my name. You're not listed as a tenant. Mr. Chen confirmed that in an email this morning. A lie? But he didn't know that. And even if you were, I have evidence of fraud. Do you really want me to take this to the police? His jaw clenched. You wouldn't. I pulled out my phone, showed him the screenshots I'd organized. Rent fraud, wire fraud, theft. I've already documented everything. I have a lawyer drafting a demand letter for full repayment. If you're smart, you'll move out quietly and we'll handle this in civil court. If you're not, I'll press criminal charges. You're bluffing. Try me. We stared at each other across the table. Finally, he looked away. Who's Vanessa? I asked quietly. He didn't answer. The woman you've been seeing every Thursday night for months. In North Beach. The one you emailed calling me a cash cow. It's not what you think. Marcus, I don't care anymore. I really don't. You can have Vanessa. You can have your lies and your schemes. But you're not having another dollar of my money. I stood up, grabbed my laptop bag. I'm going to work. I expect you to be gone by the time I get home. Anything you leave behind will be donated to Goodwill. Emma, wait. I turned at the door. Oh. And the wedding? All cancelled. I'm keeping the deposits I paid. You can explain to your family why there won't be a ceremony in October. You can't do this. I just did. I walked out of that apartment with my head high. At the office, I went straight to Karen's floor. She was at her desk, already working despite the early hour. Emma. Come in. She gestured at a chair. HR should have the contracts ready by noon. This is so exciting. Have you told Marcus yet? I told him. He gave me an ultimatum, him or the job. Her face fell. Oh, Emma. I'm so sorry. Don't be. I chose the job. And I broke off our engagement. What? Are you okay? I surprised myself by laughing. You know what? I really am. It turns out he was stealing from me for years. I was just too busy, proving myself here to notice. Karen's eyes widened. Jesus. Emma. I'm fine. Really. I have a lawyer handling it. And honestly, I met her eyes. This promotion is the best thing that's ever happened to me. It woke me up. She studied my face. You mean that? I do. When do I start? We spent the next hour going over details. The Manhattan office, the team I'd be building, the expectations for the first 6 months. It felt good to focus on work, on something concrete and real. At 10 a.m. my phone rang. The Fairmont. Miss Chen, we got your message about the October wedding. I have to inform you that all deposits are non-refundable per the contract you signed. That's fine. I'm not requesting a refund. I'd like to repurpose the event. Silence. I'm sorry? The date, the room, the setup. I still want all of it. Just not for a wedding. What kind of event did you have in mind? I smiled. A celebration. I'll send over the revised details this afternoon. After I hung up, I started typing. New invitations. New purpose. The Fairmont, October 15th, 7 p.m. Emma Chen's New Beginning Gala. In celebration of my promotion to Vice President of Product. And the start of my next chapter. Cocktails, dinner, and dancing. In lieu of gifts, donations to girls who code appreciated. I sent the text to my designer friend, Sarah, asking if she could rush the invitations. Then I called the caterer, the photographer, the florist. Explained the change. They all agreed to honor the contracts with the new purpose. My phone kept buzzing throughout the morning. Marcus, mostly. Angry texts at first. Then pleading. Then angry again. Marcus. This is insane. You can't just kick me out. Marcus. We can work through this. Couples therapy. Marcus. You're really going to throw away 3 years over money? Marcus. Fine. You want to be a bitch? I'll fight you on everything. Marcus, please. Can we just talk? I love you. I didn't respond to any of them. At noon, my phone rang again. Unknown number. Miss Chen? This is Detective Morrison with SFPD Fraud Division. Your attorney forwarded documentation of alleged financial crimes. I'd like to ask you some questions. I hadn't actually sent anything to police yet, but my lawyer must have thought it was necessary. Of course, Detective. I have all the evidence organized. We spoke for 45 minutes. I walked him through everything. The rent fraud, the fake expenses, the inheritance theft. He took detailed notes, said he'd open an investigation. This is pretty clear-cut, he said. With documentation this thorough, we should be able to build a strong case. Your lawyer mentioned you're open to a civil resolution? If he pays back what he stole, yes. But I want the option of pressing charges if he refuses. Understood. We'll be in touch. After I hung up, Karen appeared in my office doorway. Lunch? You look like you could use a break. We went to our favorite sushi place around the corner. As we ate, I told her everything. The money, the lies, Vanessa. She listened without interrupting. You know what's crazy? I said, finishing my story. I feel lighter. Like I've been carrying this weight I didn't even know was there. Because you were. Karen said. You were carrying him. And now you're not. I should have seen it sooner. Hey. She pointed a chopstick at me. Don't do that. Don't blame yourself for trusting someone you loved. That's on him. Not you. My eyes stung. I just feel stupid. Like I was this powerful executive at work but a complete doormat at home. You weren't a doormat. You were trusting and generous and in love. Those aren't weaknesses, Emma. He exploited them, but that doesn't make them flaws. I nodded, swallowing hard. Thanks, Karen. Besides, look at you now. Less than 24 hours later and you've already ended it, documented everything, secured your position, and planned a celebration party. That's not a doormat. That's a woman who knows her worth. We clinked sake cups. That evening, I came home to find Marcus gone. He'd taken his clothes, his PlayStation, some kitchen stuff. He'd left the furniture since most of it was mine anyway. The ring was still on the kitchen table where I'd left it. I picked it up, turned it over in my hand. I'd loved this ring once. Thought it symbolized forever. Now it just looked like glass and metal. I put it in a box and sealed it. I'd sell it online, donate the money to charity. My phone rang. My mother. Emma. Marcus called me. He said you called off the wedding? What happened? I took a deep breath and told her everything. When I finished, there was a long silence. Mom? I never liked him. Her voice was quiet. I never said anything because you seemed happy. But I never trusted him. Something about the way he talked about your job, like it was a hobby. Like you were playing at being important. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have listened? You loved him. You would have thought I was being overprotective. She was right. I wouldn't have heard it. Are you okay? She asked. I am. Actually, I'm better than okay. I got promoted. VP. $240 a year. She gasped. Emma. That's incredible. Your father would be so proud. My throat tightened at the mention of my father. I wish he could see it. He does see it, sweetheart. And he sees you standing up for yourself too. That's my girl. After we hung up, I poured myself a glass of wine and sat on my couch. My apartment felt different now. Quieter, but in a good way. Like the air had cleared. I opened my laptop and started working on the new beginning gala details. Guest list, menu changes, updated invitations. I was keeping the same venue, same band, same flowers. Just changing the purpose. Instead of celebrating a marriage that would have been a disaster, I'd celebrate myself. My promotion, my freedom, my future. The RSVPs started coming in within days. Old college friends, colleagues, family, everyone enthusiastic, supportive. Several people told me they'd never been excited about Marcus anyway. He always seemed like he was trying too hard, my best friend Lisa said over drinks. Like he needed to prove he was on your level instead of just being secure in himself. The weeks passed quickly. I signed my VP contract, gave notice at my San Francisco office, started apartment hunting in Manhattan. Found a gorgeous one-bedroom in Chelsea for $4,800 a month, expensive, but worth every penny. It had floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Hudson and a kitchen with marble countertops. I FaceTimed with my new team, started making plans for the East Coast division. The work was exciting, challenging. I felt more energized than I had in years. Marcus's texts continued, alternating between desperate and angry. My lawyer handled all communication after the first week. Marcus refused to acknowledge the fraud at first, then offered to pay back $20,000 just to make peace. My lawyer countered with the full $94,700. We were at a standstill. Then, 2 weeks before the gala, I got a call from Detective Morrison. "We've built a strong case, Miss Chen. Wire fraud, theft by deception, rental fraud. The DA is willing to prosecute if you want to move forward." What would that mean for him? Could be looking at several years, depending on the charges and his record. I thought about it. Part of me wanted him to face real consequences. But another part just wanted to move on. "Give him one more chance to settle," I said. "Full amount plus my legal fees. If he refuses, we prosecute." My lawyer delivered the message. Marcus caved within 24 hours. He couldn't pay the full amount immediately, but he agreed to monthly payments of $2,500 plus a lump sum of $30,000 from liquidating his share of the Berkeley property. It would take 3 years to repay everything, but at least it was something. I want it in writing, I told my lawyer. And if he misses a payment, we go to the police immediately. Already drafting it. The night before the gala, I treated myself to a spa day. Massage, facial, the works. I came home relaxed, painted my nails a deep burgundy, and laid out my dress for tomorrow. A stunning emerald green gown I'd bought specifically for this occasion. Not a wedding dress. A power dress. The gala was everything I'd hoped for. The Fairmont ballroom looked magical, draped in gold fabric with soft lighting and flowers everywhere. The same setup we'd planned for the wedding, but repurposed. 200 guests, friends, family, colleagues, mentors. No one from Marcus's side, obviously. Just people who genuinely cared about me and my success. I wore the emerald dress with my grandmother's diamond earrings and walked into that ballroom alone, head high. The room erupted in applause when I entered. My mother was crying. Lisa rushed up and hugged me. "You look like a queen." Karen gave the first toast. To Emma Chen, the most resilient, talented, and courageous leader I know. You didn't just survive a terrible situation. You transformed it into a celebration of your own power. That's who you are. That's who you've always been. To Emma, everyone echoed. I gave my own speech halfway through the evening, standing at the microphone with a champagne glass in hand. "Thank you all for being here. 6 months ago, this night was supposed to be my wedding. I was supposed to be celebrating a marriage. Instead, I'm celebrating something better. Myself. I learned a hard lesson this year. I learned that you can be strong in your career and vulnerable in your personal life. You can be a leader at work and let someone take advantage of you at home. Success in one area doesn't protect you from failure in another. But I also learned that when you realize you've been deceived, you have a choice. You can stay and keep making excuses, or you can walk away and reclaim your power. I chose to walk away. And in doing so, I found myself again. The woman who doesn't apologize for her ambition. The woman who knows her worth. The woman who refuses to be anyone's cash cow. Laughter and applause rippled through the crowd. So thank you all for supporting me. Thank you for being here tonight. And if anyone else is in a situation where someone is making you feel bad for your success or stealing from you, or trying to dim your light, walk away. You deserve better. We all do. To new beginnings. To new beginnings. The party lasted until midnight. I danced with friends, hugged family, networked with colleagues who flew in from New York. It was perfect. As I said goodbye to the last guests, my mother pulled me aside. "Your father would be so proud," she said again, squeezing my hand. "I used his money the right way, Mom. Not on Marcus's schemes but on this. On celebrating who I've become." She kissed my forehead. That's exactly what he would have wanted. I moved to New York 3 weeks later. The Chelsea apartment was even better in person. I spent my first weekend unpacking, arranging furniture, making it mine. Monday morning, I walked into the Manhattan office as vice president of product. My office had that view of the Hudson I dreamed about. My name on the door. My team waiting to meet me. "Welcome, Emma," my new assistant said. "Coffee? Please." Black. I sat at my desk, opened my laptop, and got to work. That evening, I got a text from an unknown number. I almost deleted it, thinking it might be Marcus from a new phone. But curiosity got the better of me. Hi Emma. I know this is random, but I'm a friend of Karen's. She showed me photos from your gala. I'm a columnist for HuffPost Women and I'd love to interview you about your story. Would you be interested? I stared at the message. 6 months ago, I would have been mortified at the thought of sharing this publicly. The failed engagement, the theft, the humiliation of being deceived. But now, I realized my story might help someone else. Some other woman who was being manipulated or stolen from or made to feel small. Some other person who needed to hear that walking away was okay. That choosing yourself wasn't selfish. I typed back, yes. I'd like that. The article came out 3 weeks later. The VP who turned her cancelled wedding into a celebration of freedom. It went viral. Thousands of comments from people sharing their own stories of financial abuse, of partners who stole from them, of relationships they should have ended sooner. My inbox flooded with messages. Women thanking me for speaking up. Men saying they'd never realized financial manipulation was a form of abuse. Organizations asking me to speak about financial literacy and relationship red flags. I said yes to some speaking engagements. Not many. I still had a demanding job, but enough to feel like I was making a difference. Marcus saw the article, of course. He sent one final text. You didn't have to humiliate me publicly. I didn't respond. Blocking him felt better than any reply. 6 months into my New York role, we launched our first major product. It was a success, beating projections by 40%. The board approved my request to expand the team. My career was thriving, but more than that, I was thriving. I joined a women's leadership group in Manhattan. Started taking pottery classes on weekends. Traveled to Morocco alone just because I wanted to. I was learning who I was without someone else's expectations or manipulations. One evening, I was walking home from dinner with friends when I passed a jewelry store. In the window was a stunning ring, not an engagement ring, but a wide gold band with a single emerald. I walked in. Can I see that ring? The salesperson pulled it out. It was perfect. Bold, beautiful, unapologetic. I'll take it, I said. I wore it on my right hand, a symbol of my commitment to myself. A reminder that I didn't need someone else to complete me. I was already whole. A year after the gala, I was back in San Francisco for a product conference. Lisa invited me to dinner at a new restaurant in the marina. As I walked in, I saw Marcus across the room. He was with a date, some blonde woman who wasn't Vanessa. Our eyes met for a split second. He looked away first. I ordered the most expensive wine on the menu and toasted with Lisa to being free. The whole time, I never looked in his direction again. He wasn't worth the glance. After dinner, Lisa and I walked along the water. How does it feel? She asked. Seeing him? Nothing, I said honestly. I felt absolutely nothing. Like he was just another stranger in a restaurant. That's when you know you've healed, she said. When they stop taking up space in your head. She was right. Marcus didn't live in my thoughts anymore. That space was occupied by my work, my friends, my goals, by the woman I was becoming. My 2 years in New York turned into 3. I was too valuable to lose, so the company let me stay. I moved into a bigger apartment, got promoted again to senior vice president. My salary hit $320,000. I dated occasionally. Met people through friends, through work events. Nothing serious. But that was fine. I wasn't in a hurry. I'd learned that being alone was better than being with the wrong person. On the 3rd anniversary of my New Beginning gala, I threw another party. Smaller this time, just close friends. We raised our glasses to growth, to resilience, to choosing ourselves. Best decision you ever made, Karen said, hugging me. Walking away from Marcus? No. Accepting the VP position. Everything else followed from that one choice. She was right. That moment in the kitchen, when Marcus gave me his ultimatum and I chose myself, that was the moment everything changed. I looked around the room at my friends, at the life I'd built, at the woman I'd become. Strong, independent, unafraid. And I smiled, because I knew with absolute certainty. I'd made the right choice. The ring on my right hand caught the light, the emerald glinting like a promise. A promise I'd made to myself and kept. To never again let anyone make me feel small. To never again apologize for my success. To never again choose someone else's comfort over my own growth. I was the VP who walked away. The woman who reclaimed her power, the person who turned betrayal into freedom. And I wouldn't trade that for anything.